now,
There it
and
is.
let's get going. Okay, guys, so what we were doing was Intune configuration profiles.
Yeah.
And in configuration profiles, that's what I was trying to now show that where we were last time. And so this is our Entra admin, excuse me. And then we are not Entra admin. I need to go to actually the admin area here, portal.office.com. I'll just, or I'll go for, I just need the 9 dots here. Okay, so here, endpoint manager, and then, oh,
They
seriously,
changed it. Yeah, they
they
changed it
changed the
last
look. Yeah,
Monday.
yep. So, yep, that will keep on happening because it's their side now. So, okay, if we go to the dashboard, everything looks okay, but that's because we didn't do anything. That's why it's okay. Okay,
Sure.
so it's not a full environment like a production one. Otherwise, there are so many errors showing here or so many incompatibilities showing here. Wait till you see our actual Intune environment in my office. So anyway, so here we fix it, and then new errors come. We fix it, then new incompatibilities come. We fix it. So it's a continuous effort, obviously. Okay, so what we were doing last time, we went to devices, we went to configuration profiles here. And in configuration profiles, last time we created device restrictions as well. And these device restrictions, if we go inside, so and view report, in fact, we don't need to view report. We can just go slowly down here. First is device assignment status and status. But what we configured was basically we gave the name and then we added this security group because the two users that we added are supposed to be connected to the devices, and those devices will get this policy. So what are the policies that we gave? Let me just make it 120. Okay. So if we go down, so whatever policies we selected out of a long list of policies or settings, that's going to show here. So we selected some from control panel settings, and we did some for Microsoft Defender antivirus. Otherwise, if we go to configuration settings and edit, that's the long list of policies, actually pretty long list of all the configuration settings, out of which we chose two. But we went through and talked about all of those, refer to the previous video. And when do you want to select which one for majority of the policies? We discussed that. So this was implemented, now implemented on who? So I'm going to quickly create a diagram. I hope I have a diagram here in my slide, which I could just grab. No, these are all old ones. Okay, so I'll just create one. And we had two users. Now I'm going to just log in from other two users. In fact, because I had to change my PC. In fact, those two users, same users, I can log in from other devices as well. Okay, overall, what's going on here? It's Intune, and in Intune, we have, okay, Intune endpoint manager. We should talk about that or mention this terminology whenever somebody says, oh, you have worked on endpoint manager. Obviously, this means you worked on Intune or not. So we have that Intune here. In Intune, we have configured compliance policies, and we have configured configuration profiles. And with configuration profiles, we have configured, that's what we that's what I was showing. If I go back to device configuration, so we have configured CEA device restrictions. Actually, we have configured the profile type we should be mentioning here. We have configured device restrictions configuration profile, and we have configured endpoint protection configuration profile. So device restrictions and endpoint protections, device restrictions, and endpoint protection. This is what we have configured on who. So that's where our users come in. So we have one Windows 11, 10 device, Windows 10 Pro, and the user was, I think, Megan for Windows 10, but I'm going to check that. In fact, I'm just going to have to log in again. So I'll go for
No,
Megan here, 10 Pro.
no. So you're 11. I'm 10, and
So
I'm Nestor.
Nestor was
Nestor.
on,
Nestor.
yeah,
That's 10.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, Nestor. And okay, I'll give a different color here. And Windows 11, but it's going to change now because I had to install new devices. So that's Megan. Now the policies here on Windows 10 and 11, also within the Windows, what we had to install to get the policies was company portal. So that is an app that we have to install. This is the client of Intune, and that client is actually uh, pulling all the Intune policies to the machines. So that company portal app, and yeah. So if you have company portal app, obviously you can talk to Intune properly, and then is and other than that, there are devices there as well that were so user profile were registered. If we go for users and devices, we can say users and device uh, are registered in Microsoft Entra ID and Intune both. And then policies were implemented on both of them. So we had to configure all that. We had to configure Intune, and then one by one we discussed all the policies, and we had to configure all the policies as well. So this is the whole criteria right now. Now this Windows 10 is and Windows 11 is configured. The users Nestor and Megan are also in the list. Um, Now, rest of it, what's next is that we're going to be implementing endpoint protection. Oh, this is endpoint protection, but this is under configuration profile. Now we're going to go for a category here, endpoint protection baselines, which is some of the policies for protection here kind of overlap with configuration profile protection policies, but many are totally new, which are not there in configuration profiles as well. So endpoint protection baselines. So it is called, and that obviously is for full security. Configuration profiles are not just security, they are also enhancements for drivers, they are enhancements for applications, especially devices and the components of devices, components of operating system. So configuration profiles do cover security, but they don't specialize in security. What specializes in security is endpoint protection. Baselines, if I go back to the thingy here, so endpoint security, this is written here. While you see endpoint protection here, this is endpoint security here. So this is actually endpoint security. That's why I was saying that, hey, they cannot be same. Exactly same. But some of the policies of endpoint security baseline, now you will see, might already be there configured with configuration profile. But there's I may have mentioned that before as well, that uh, the protection settings here in suppose configuration profiles, they are part of a bundle. You might need majority of the settings in that bundle, and you may ignore, okay, yeah, if I enable that bundle, so many more settings will get enabled, but yeah, the ones I need are also enabled. That's what I want. So when you enable some group of settings here in security, very few of them might be also already implemented by configuration profiles. But since you're enabling a group of settings and you need majority of those settings are new ones, so you then ignore that. Okay, if one policy or one setting here is actually also here in configuration profile, and they're gonna give you the error of conflict, policy conflict. There will be an error coming there that an Intune dashboard that, hey, this policy is already there applied by conversion profile, and you are applying that here in security baselines as well. So there are some harmful conflicts, and then there are some harmless conflicts. So we're just have to decide that, okay, even if it overlaps, even if there's a conflict, does it really harm our environment? Does it harm our users, end users, and devices? So if it doesn't, then we just simply implement it. So there are a few baselines that we need to uh, go through. And obviously you must know that what's inside those baselines and how do we implement that. And yeah, so whatever we implement that compliance policies, that's all right now for Windows environment. And then we're going to be going for obviously iOS and Android devices as well. But this is all we're talking about Windows devices right now. So endpoint security, but the same compliance policy is for iOS or iPhone, Apple devices, as well as Android devices. Configuration profile is also for iOS and Android, and endpoint security is also for iOS and Android. So you have to then check that which are the cell phone based policies and which are actually operating system or laptop, desktop based policies. ONK. So Malik says, should security baselines? Oops. Okay, let me just drag those chat ones. Guys, mute. Guys, mute. Mute. ONK. Was there participants? Yeah. Oh, I have to drag it out. Okay. So Malik says in the chat, should security baselines be configured first and then config policies? First or second? Actually, there's a new. Yeah. So these two guys go together, compliance policies and configuration profiles. Suppose you implement this, this has to be there. Otherwise, Intune will not be even, there will be errors that Intune will generate that, hey, what is your compliance policy? So compliance, this is a must have. Now, configuration profile and endpoint security, among them, you can switch that. Oh, I decide to implement that first. So yeah, you can do that. And or as we went, configuration profile. So there is no like preference here. Yes, you can implement this and you can implement that. So why we go for configuration profiles and prefer to go for configuration profiles, because it's not only security, but it's also for there are many policies there for different operating system sections and areas and components, user profile. This is purely security here. So you have to still give some enhancements to operating systems, and you have to really control them from Intune and then go purely for security. So that's why preferable is compliance policies, then configuration profiles, and then endpoint security baselines. But you can implement compliance policy and endpoint security and then configuration profile later. But you will see that configuration profiles are always there. We really need them. Okay, so if anyone has experience with SCCM, so that's what we have been doing there as well.
Yeah.
Always check for some of the OS enhancements, OS restrictions as well. ONK. So let's go ahead, guys, and I'm going to have to do this. Do what? Because I changed my machines, I had to reinstall this. All I need to do is just simply log in from those users again and let it go ahead. So what I'm going to do next is today in today's episode, what we're going to do is configure, get the Windows 10, 11 on MS Entra ID or Azure Active Directory and Intune. Get them compliant. So they will keep working on compliance, but while they are working on that, I'll just switch between getting the devices up and running, as well as I will go for the endpoint security baselines. And its endpoint security baseline is actually much bigger area of configurations. So that's why we will take some time there. Also, we need to introduce, I need to show you some aspects of auto enroll and later auto patch. So Intune is going really automated. But what is auto enroll and then what is auto patch? Auto patch project is actually going on currently in my company. Auto enroll, they just gave me that assignment, so I had to configure that. So yeah, endpoint security baselines, and then auto enroll, auto patch, and there are some scripts. So PowerShell script, Chrome deployment, and policies. Chrome deployment and policies. Okay. Anyway, there are so much more coming now. Then we need to switch to devices as well, one by one. Okay. So here, I'm gonna quickly go for the two users. Actually, I'll just either go for one user that I was already using, and the other user, I can just check any other new user now. First step would be get the Windows 10, 11 on MS Enter ID Intune, because the new ones I had to install because I changed my laptop and the previous ones had some issues. So I'm going to go quickly here and all users, and some of the users that actually majority of the users are Intune ready, because I'm going to go for Amy Lawrence and check it out. Well, she has the E5 license. So E5 has Intune already. I'm just going to add her to that security group, right? And then the other one was, I think, Megan. So I'll just use that. Okay, so Amy Lawrence, I just need the username password for that and just log her in from that machine. And then we just simply move ahead. I really hate moving to different machines because so much is set up and so much is missing after that, no matter how good the planning is. Okay, so this is the user. I need to log in from Windows 11, and I'll just reset the password for this user quickly.
How's the family?
Unfortunately. Okay. Mhm.
Yeah. No. Oh, sorry about that.
Users, active users. Amy. And I'll just reset her password now, and it will send me that password in my email as well. Okay, LOL. Yeah, what's so funny? BW. Okay. So I'll just log in from it because Windows I had formatted last night, and I just need to go ahead. So it's ready for asking, hey, who's the user here? Oh, don't tell me you're not gonna paste here, copy paste. Okay. So Amy.Lawrence 0xBSC.
Amir, you gotta enable pasting, eh? You can enable it. You can enable
Okay.
pasting
From
from a VM to a machine, but it's
no, yeah, it has to be. It will
yeah,
enable
you have
if
to
this
enable it. Yeah.
install tools. When we install VMware tools, then it gets enabled. Otherwise,
Yeah, for
it does not.
dragging, but I'm talking about
Yes.
copying and pasting too. There is a version. Okay, anyway. I'll let you get
Yeah,
back.
I'm
Erase the
actually
copy and paste.
okay. Cool. Good to know. I'm just going faster, so that would be 0xBSC. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it detects that and LOL. Wow, what a password. LOL 52327. LOL 52 347 or 327. 327. And sign timed out. Okay, email lines in capital L, lowercase o, L 52327. 52327. Okay, got it. Now it's gonna keep going ahead. So wherever it stops, I'll just. But what we are expecting is that this user, whoa, was this user added to the Intune security group? No, and that's not good. This user has to be added to Intune security group if you want this user and the machine to be registered with Intune. So I'll simply go to teams and groups and active teams and groups and the Intune security group. There are only a few groups here. Yeah. Seriously? Which one was it? Compliance department? No. Okay, I'll just check the Intune environment quickly here. There is endpoint manager. Go. Yeah, there are the devices and whichever profile has the security group. There's the Intune Windows devices user group. Okay. Hey, I didn't see that there. Intune Windows devices security group. Am I in active teams and groups? So, okay, I'll go to that group in Entra Admin Center and then go to all groups and then Intune, just type that. There you go. Members, I need to add. So Megan, Bowen, Nestor, Wilke, or Wilk are there. I'll just put this user as well. In my company, all the employees are obviously added to this security group or whatever number of security groups I've created. And so the next one is Megan. So I'll just log in from Windows 10 for Megan as well, just to get that Windows 10 also running. So I'm just going to go to Microsoft Admin Center, active users, go for Megan because I need the password for Megan now and the username as well. So, but they must be in the security group, otherwise it's a full exercise will be of no use. If we don't have that, I'll just put the other user here and its password quickly. Then we're going to go for baseline policies and reset password. Cub, I don't know Cub. Cub in Urdu or Hindi is when. Anyway, so that's KB 98114.
You do Hindu classes too?
What?
You do Hindu classes too?
Hindu?
You teach Hindu?
No.
No?
The language is Hindi. The language
Oh,
name is
yeah?
Hindi and Urdu, but yeah, we speak
Sorry
it.
about
So
Oh,
you know.
Urdu.
Yes.
Urdu in Italian means like you're deaf.
The-
Say Urdu. I'm
okay,
serious.
yeah, that was
It
a
means
good
you're
one.
deaf. No, I swear to God. Okay.
No, I understand that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
one thing in another language is it could be something.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
The
very bad as
languages.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all about the languages, right?
Yeah.
And your native tongue. So however whatever your tongue feels like speaking.
Yeah.
Ha.
Yeah. Megan B and 0xBSC. So
Cab. It's another one.
Megan B.
So I learned SAS and cab.
Cab. Oh yeah,
Oh,
cab is a password.
SAS. Yeah. No, SAS. You said that it was
Oh,
your aunt.
SAS, exactly.
Oh, yeah,
The
yeah.
mother-in-law.
Your mother-in-law. Yeah,
Come
yeah, yeah,
on.
yeah. Urdu means you're deaf, so that's a good one. I'll teach you some of my words too if you want.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah.
XBSC. Okay, sure. Megan B. Next.
You're willing to learn Italian.
Oh, yes. Sí,
Uh-huh.
señor.
Yeah. Well, that's Spanish. I'm not Spanish.
Oh, so C or V? I think
Uh,
Spanish is we. Yes.
yeah. No,
Sub
that's French.
98.14. Oh, okay. I mixed
Yeah.
up.
That's French. Yeah, that's French. Okay, I'll let you get back.
uh, 98.114. Okay, now these guys should be on their way or not. Megan B at 0xbsc.onmicrosoft.com. Capital K A B. Come on. Capital K A B. 98114. Ugh. Okay. 98114. 98114. All right. It's on its way as well. So I'm going to check the 11 and it's waiting for me. So I'm just going to go for, in production environment, we do choose what we need to go here and select. Let Microsoft apps use location. Yeah, well, some companies say yes, some companies say no. Find my device, yes. Send diagnostic data required only. Okay. Improve inking and typing. If it's touch based, yes. If it's not, then no. Um, well, even if it's no and you say yes, it doesn't matter. Get tailored experiences with diagnostic data. Yes. Apps advertisement, no. That's it. Okay, move it. It's gonna stop at Windows Hello. Now, guys, one more thing. Try to check one more thing here, and that is it's asking for input, right? And it's asking for, it's going to stop there. It's going to wait for you. And if you're busy, you're doing something else, obviously, it's a waste of time. Auto enroll removes all these inputs options. You just give that input option to auto enroll and try to configure in the configurations. So it will not stop at anything, or it will stop at very, very, very less things, saving you a lot of time. You can do something else after you put it on auto enroll. Okay, but that's an upcoming topic. I'm going to go for the next one. And there also it's asking for Microsoft Find My Device, the accept, send diagnostic data required only, and improve inking. No, get tailored experience with diagnostic data. No, maybe before I did yes. Apps advertisement. No, go, 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 go. So they both must be added to Microsoft Entra ID and automatically added to Intune as well. So both are on their way, and I'm going to just move to the other topic as well as they move ahead.
Amir, will we be doing will we be doing autopilot, like automating laptops or VMs?
Yeah, so that is
From start
also
with, remember we talked about this. You were going to introduce this in the class from start to finish. So basically, in Intune, you can create a laptop with a task sequence, and then that task sequence will run. We're going to do that.
yeah, I was gonna say that, but I was waiting for you to finish. So yes. Okay. So
Perfect.
auto enroll, what I was just talking about to you now,
Yeah.
that is autopilot. So auto enroll also
Good.
we say in Office. So basically you're enrolling a device
Very useful.
automatically, right? But it's
Mhm.
yeah, the main terminology is autopilot.
That's
But
right.
yeah, that's what we were talking about. So
It's
definitely we will be doing
definitely
that. But it's
a
not
takeaway.
okay. When it comes, then we will talk about that. Sure.
It's a great takeaway, though. Absolutely.
Yeah. Ooh, NK. So let's get going. Now, what we need to do is go to that endpoint security, and then let's talk about that as well. So I'm on MSFT Intune, and I'm going to go for endpoint security and overview. So endpoint security, its security baselines is a lot of stuff already. But then there is security tasks as well, antivirus, disk encryption, firewall, some enterprise level settings that you can go for, and then those features will follow whatever you configure here. So definitely endpoint security is a big one. And at the end, it also says Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. So are we having that subscription connection status is unavailable? So Defender for Endpoint should be connected to Azure. It should be connected to, well, it's endpoint, obviously, end user devices, but Microsoft Defender itself. So endpoint should be connected here as well. So how should it be connected? We're going to talk about that too. So overview, if we go protect and secure devices from one place. So what's the purpose of endpoint security? Enable, configure, and deploy Microsoft Defender for endpoint to help prevent security breaches and gain visibility into your organization security posture. So this is purely security. Microsoft recommended security settings assign baselines quickly and securely using our recommended settings. So definitely we're going to go through baselines as well now. Simplified security policies, select any of the following categories to jump right in and start securing your devices. So these are just all antivirus of Microsoft Defender is already there, right? But how do you configure it? Are there some recommendations from Microsoft? And obviously, what would your company prefer to do? So let's try to check that out as well. Other than that, remediate endpoint weaknesses. So remediate endpoint vulnerabilities reported by Microsoft Defender for endpoint and threat and vulnerability management. So you have to keep an eye on what Microsoft Defender is recommending. This weaknesses area, I pretty much used to go every day. And then now my junior admin goes there and weaknesses actually show especially critical vulnerabilities and medium vulnerabilities and low vulnerabilities. So we have a an alert that we created in a project. Actually, external vendor created a KQL query about that the email alerts should come to us, and those alerts should be all about which devices have critical vulnerabilities. So we clean up. So before they were like 50 or 60
Mailflow?
devices. Mhm.
Mailflow you're talking about? Alerts?
No, not mail floors. It's about vulnerability, which are critical. So if I go here, I don't think we have that subscription here, but if I go to security,
Yeah.
then if it's endpoint, Defender endpoint is actually missing there. So that's why it
Mhm.
may not have that. But it's
Yeah,
in
of
this
course.
area. If endpoint is showing here, then you will see that section, which we haven't connected yet. So we will be connecting that. But yeah, it's all about, okay, where was I?
No.
Yeah, here. So yeah, but we visit that area every day, and critical vulnerabilities were 50 or 60 first, and then we cleaned up all devices. And then next month, new 6 or 7 devices with critical vulnerabilities came. And normally vulnerabilities were that if you did not update your Windows 10 or 11, then there are some critical vulnerabilities they discover every month now in your operating system, as well as third-party applications is the biggest pain now in our company. How do you update 200 Adobe Acrobat older versions in all devices? One way, you connect to every device and update. And the other way obviously is through Intune. You package that software. First you deploy it centrally and then you patch it centrally as well, right? So third-party applications are the biggest pain in the neck right now for us. Well, and there's a project that has started now. And we're actually going for a third-party scripting tool that packages for us the third-party apps and deploys for us centrally, and then also patch it or upgrade it or update it later as well. So we're in the process of going through a POC of third-party solution that connects to Intune. Okay, anyway, here let's go to overview, and we've gone to overview. Let's go down to all devices. We don't have much. Actually, we have 3 here. If I go in to devices, do they stop anywhere? Use Windows Hello here on Windows 11, and you're about to be okay. So if I click close, shutdown will start on Saturday. Windows will shut in 10 minutes. I think there's some policy that is requiring a shutdown. Anyway, on 11, Windows Hello, I'm just going to press OK because I don't want to go for face and fingerprint. I'm just going to go for PIN quickly. So this process could go ahead and I could register this device and then we can start experimenting on our devices. So use different Amy Lawrence. Oh, seriously, don't ask me for MFA. Please don't. Or let me skip. Come on, move it. Once those devices are up and running, so can I skip it? I'll just go cancel and something went wrong and then skip for now. Okay, I can skip it. So yeah, it's logging in and I'll just go here as well. It didn't ask for a pin, but I think, oh, Megan, I already configured the MFA. So I'll just send a code to myself quickly and log in from Megan. So Megan will have 2 devices registered now. A maximum is 5 devices a user can register. 871, 216,
Or VMs.
or VMs. Exactly.
Yeah.
Or cell phones, tablets.
Yeah, 5 devices.
And
right.
yeah, it's asking for PIN. And this time Windows 10 actually did what we expected it to do. So that's good. I'll go for, can I give 8888888? I hope it accepts that. 888888.
Yes.
Okay, no. Okay, anyway, I'll just go for, so 138000831. 138000831. And yeah, it's gonna accept that, but then I need to put it here. Pin 1380083. Okay. Otherwise, I'll forget that and then we're stuck. Or we have to change the pin. Okay. Anyway, let's go ahead and Windows 11 did not ask now, but it may ask later. Okay, these guys are now logging in. We're kind of good. It has internet connection. So that's good. We need to deploy. First thing we need to deploy, encryption needed. So guys, all the Intune related experience for end user is going on. Now this encryption is, if I click that, oh, okay, in 2 minutes it's gonna stop. I think there's some policy that I already implemented on Megan user that is going to shut it down, and that's very weird. I'll have to check all the policies. But I cannot start this long process if that policy is gonna force shutdown. So I have to check that what policy is forcing me to shut down. Like seriously, are you ready to start encryption? Well, if I say no, then I will have to start later, and I'll just shut it down now and then start it. So I could get rid of that policy and configure the rest. Here also in Windows 11, I just need to make sure, first of all, it's a virtual machine, right? So VMware tools have to be installed, so all the drivers could be installed. Second thing is Portal Intune Portal app needs to be, company app needs to be installed.
Going.
Okay, so let's keep going. And now what we were trying to say here is, where was my, yeah. So get the compliant and here, yeah. So I'm just gonna finish this. And here, okay, so I'll go for 1380. So it's going to, yeah, whenever it pops up, I'll just try to go ahead. But now let's go to our policies and Yeah, here, all devices and then security policy baselines, right? So we're going to go for security baselines here. And there used to be 4 baselines here. Now there are 5 of them. So security baseline for Windows 10 and later, Microsoft Defender for endpoint baseline, security baseline for Microsoft Edge. So for the browser, they have created a security baseline. But if I go inside, what we had created was few policies only. And if I go just check it out that if there was anything improved, then oh, okay. So it's still few policies. Okay. So, well, every year we check that. We have certain policies added there, or maybe the whole thing has changed, but it hasn't. Security baseline for Windows 10 and later. Microsoft Defender. So here, security baseline for Windows 10 and later, if we go there first and then create a profile. Now, obviously, the logic here is that you have to add the security group to the profile. So I'm going to go for whatever the name of the policy. So when we see the policy, we can just see the name by name. We can also check it out. It's MDM security baseline, right? So if I go outside and check it out again, create profile. Oh, so MDM security baseline. Okay, so here, next. And app runtime. Excuse me. So, okay, what are the policies here? We have seen all that, but you can see that it's really big and long list of policies here. Above lock, voice activate apps from lock screen. So obviously, if you have voice activation there, so you want to disable it, and it is disabled, that you want to unlock by voice activation, right? So block display of toast notifications. So that is also block toast notifications above the device lock screen. If there are some notifications that pop up on the lock screen, you want to enable it or block it. App runtime. So these are, lots and long list of policies there that, we can go do our homework on and then try to enable whatever is good for our company. I'm just going to go a little faster on that because we have gone through so many policies. Intune is a collection of huge amount of policies. Microsoft accounts optional for Windows Store apps. So Windows Store is this, right? Microsoft Store. And you want to have some optional accounts there. So it is enabled by default. So whatever account you're logged in from for Windows, Microsoft E5 Business, then you can go for that. Also, we have application management. So application management, we have a separate section here for apps, right? But each profile setting also has some of application management as well. So Microsoft accounts optional for Windows Store apps. Then there's block app installations with elevated privileges. This is already by default, Microsoft recommends that you don't deploy any application which are asking for elevated privileges. So there are some applications that do not ask for elevated privileges, and then there are some which do ask for elevated privileges, right? So here, if it is yes, yeah, I and my junior administrator, we had gone through all this and we had to weigh the possibility of what needs to be removed and what needs to be unselected or selected. So Microsoft has, in some areas, not all areas, in some areas, they have given good option already. They have chosen the good option already. But in many places, we have to then choose, and it's just default, and Microsoft leave it to you. So obviously, we have to be knowledgeable about that, what Microsoft has enabled and what Microsoft has left for us to decide and discuss, right? So block user control over installations, and this policy setting permits users to change installation options that typically are available only to system administrators. So user control over installation should not be there. Obviously, installation should be silent, obviously. So you have to package it and then install or deploy. But when an application you have put here, so suppose I go for, in fact, I need to install that company portal app. When you deploy an application, excuse me, when you deploy an application, so you are supposed to not just leave it for next finish to be done by end user. You have to package it, and it should be silent installation. So that's what they're saying in that endpoint security. I'll just go for LOL 52.327. LOL 52.327. Oh, it installed the VMware tools, but okay. It did not pop up. I'll just continue with the configuration of this. If it starts today, I'll just do that. Otherwise, okay. So I'll just go back. Now it says there block user control over installation. So yes, it is okay. It's good. I think this configuration is already there with the configuration profile. There are 80 or 90 settings there as well. Block game DVR desktop only. Game DVR. And broadcasting is specifies whether DVR and broadcasting is allowed. So if we go for game DVR, why would you? But gaming companies would want it to be there. So game clips you're creating or you're making it virtual reality for games. So that is what you can actually enable or not configured if it's a company that actually makes games. Audit. So here, account logon audit credential validate device success and failure. Yeah, this is something that we need to create. Auditing for, suppose somebody logged in from your account for 10 times or 8 times, and all 8 times there was a failure to log in. So obviously somebody's guessing the password, or it's too early morning and you're guessing it and you forgot your own password. So anyway, if there's a lot of failure, that's a big deal, and this is considered a hacker attempt, and people, and then as the security report after that, administrators should investigate. Account logon audit Kerberos authentication service device. So seriously, there are some things here which are supposed to be worked on. You need to read books about it, and then if you're into a lot of research, then yeah, go with each option and check it out. Otherwise, some of the options I had to just leave it to Microsoft after reading some initial things about that and initial documentation of Microsoft. Then I said, okay, just leave it as is, because this doesn't apply to us. So this policy setting allows you to audit events generated by Kerberos authentication TGT. If you configure this policy setting, an audit event is generated after a Kerberos TGT ticket. Success audits required. So we already have, suppose somebody logs in successfully, that event, and suppose somebody is not able to log in and has a failure. So those success and failure events are already being recorded in our Microsoft Entra ID or Azure Active Directory. So we don't need to really enable many of the features here, because if you know that these features are already somewhere else we have configured, then it's just a repetition. Account log off audit. This is a failure. It will create events. Now we are configuring it. Log off audit group membership. So success. If there's a successful group membership. Somebody was added to groups, so there will be events that will be created here. So account log off, audit log on. So again, log on, log off, success and failures there. If you go there, audit other log on, audit special log on, audit security group management, audit user account management, detailed tracking, audit PNP activity. So all this, you can see lots of auditing here. We started getting a lot of reports, not reports, event IDs and event creations. We started seeing those when we enabled some of these profiles. And it's good to search at least, because now there are extensive reports of who connected to what at what time and failed or succeeded. So we will be interested in failure events of whoever got connected and whoever was trying to connect or log on and could not, right? So here, privilege use, audit sensitive privilege use, system audit, other system events, and system audit, audit security system extension. So all these, again, it's auditing. You want to go for auditing in detail and you want to implement that, then here it is. And this is going to then be implemented on pretty much all the laptops. Suppose you have 10,000 employees there. So audit events in their machine will be showing you all that. I think in Windows, there's a place to go for checking events, right? I think it's, yeah, event viewer. It's still there like that with this name, which is good. So if you go to event viewer, you will see all the events there. And we used to check that a lot in when we were administrators, application. So there are so many events there. Security events are there. Actually, it says 3,717 events. It's just loading, and today or tomorrow it will think of loading. Okay, there are no security events here. So yeah, after that, implementing that policy, you will see some of the events there. That's very strange. Okay. Anyway, so you can see here, there are application events. If you're deploying application, it didn't deploy, you see this. So all those events are here, right? So here, autoplay. And so autoplay is autoplay default, auto run behavior, autoplay mode, and block autoplay. So yeah, if it's a plug and play kind of settings that you don't want connect any device connected to your laptop as a plug and play, so then you can enable or disable. Microsoft has actually done some of the configurations. They haven't left it not configured. That's a lot of configurations. So a majority of the time, actually, we found that what Microsoft has selected actually makes sense for us. But yeah, if it's a more highly secure environment, then go ahead and try to change any of those options. Majority of the options we found that, yeah, they make sense what Microsoft has configured already for us. So BitLocker, you can see BitLocker is repeating here. It was in compliance policy, and now it is in. So if I go to this devices, and in fact devices, and then go to Windows, and so there's compliance policies, there's configuration profiles. They both have BitLocker. Compliance policy just says enable BitLocker. Configuration profile just say it goes in depth with BitLocker settings. But then those same settings are being implemented, or they are shown here in this endpoint security as well. And so BitLocker removable drive policy, configure block write access to removable data drives not protected by BitLocker. That's overkill now. So what it says is that, hey, you connect a device. If you encrypt it with BitLocker, then we will let you use it. If you don't encrypt it with BitLocker, suppose it's encrypted with McAfee or some other software, so that's a no-go area. So, well, I'm just saying that, okay, I'm about to implement that, but I don't want you to implement this. So I'm changing it to not configured. BitLocker removable drive policy, configure. This policy setting is used to control the encryption method and cipher strength. The values of this policy determine the strength of the cipher that BitLocker uses for encryption. Enterprises may want to control the encryption level for this So determine the strength of the cipher that BitLocker uses for encryption. Enterprise may want to control the encryption level for increased security. So this is like, BitLocker has already been tackled in configuration profiles. You don't want some conflicts to be enabled here unless you go ahead and research that, hey, this one was not there in configuration profiles, and this still talks about another aspect of BitLocker. So try to go ahead and go deeper and try to check and compare and then implement that. Block password manager. Oh, so do you want that block password manager to be blocked? Do we have password manager here?
Should.
Password manager. Password manager, but that's not a Windows thing, right? Oh no, it went right. Anyway,
It's a browser.
so
It's a browser. Browser. It's saying.
oh, that's
Browser.
browser.
Browser. The
Exactly.
browser. The
Yeah,
browser.
it's in the browser, and so you want to block it. Well, in our company, we don't block it because it saves passwords. We did purchase 1password.com, from website. We purchased 1Password, but that's just for us, the administrators, where we save all the company passwords, in fact. But all the employees, they always go for saving the password in the browser, and then they just are able to log in from any site. There are so many sites that they have to log in as well, because there are so many services and applications and different ones, not Microsoft, so no SSO in many of those. So if they have to remember all the passwords, that's going to be a havoc. So yeah, I asked my director and she said, no, don't block it. Don't make their life miserable in the name of security, although this is a very good security. Required smart screen for Microsoft Edge Legacy. Smart screen again is for accessing sites and file. So smart screen is about not letting you run malicious applications or malicious files or anything malicious. So that's something that you can think you want to enable it or disable it. I'll just go non-configured because I'm about to implement that, and I need to do some more labs. And these policies should not be affecting my labs. Block malicious site access. Yeah, obviously. Block users from ignoring the Microsoft Defender Smart Screen filter warnings and block them from it going to the site. Applies to Microsoft Edge legacy browser. Okay, so this is legacy browser. We immediately update browsers to new ones. We don't have thousands and thousands of devices, but obviously, if you're a bank, you would know that even if there are thousands of devices, there are reports that tell right away that which machine has legacy browser, and they simply kill it or update it, upgrade it, right? So we don't expect that to be anyone to be using legacy browser, but it is for legacy or older browsers. So block and verified file download. Yes, that would be very good to block. But if I'm downloading something, I'm not using a legacy browser, I'll update my browser on those sites, on those machines. Prevent user from overriding certificate errors. If certificate errors are there, users should not override them or just close them. Errors should be shown to the administrator, so it's okay. So each and every setting has some background, obviously, and does it apply to your site, your company or not? Does your company compliance policy align with what are these settings? So it's kind of pretty. You have to really think about every setting here. As soon as you click next, apply, you're about to apply something that could be very, very disruptive for all your users. So think before you apply. That's the name of the game. And it's pretty boring. And yeah, we had a headache after 1.5 hour, over an hour of meeting, going through all that. Okay, anyway, configured secure access to UNC paths. Yeah, user naming conventions, which was // right? So when you go to run, now users, I don't think any users is doing that, but administrators are doing that a lot. So blocking them or configure Windows to only allow access to the specified UNC path. Now this is too much. But yeah, highly secure environments, they can disallow that too. Otherwise, yeah, you can just keep it blocked. Downloading of print drivers over HTTP enables block internet download for web publishing and online ordering wizards. Oh, what? Um, I think we kept it enabled, but yeah, people are still purchasing sites, purchasing from sites. Anyway, connectivity, and they're saying online ordering wizards, especially those wizards. Next, next, next. You want to purchase that, so that would be blocked. Um, it's not blocked in our side, although I don't remember changing these options. And that majority of the options we kept it after discussing it. So remote host delegation of non-exportable credentials. Remote host allows delegation of non-exportable credentials. When using credential delegation, devices provide an exportable version of credentials to the remote host. This exposes users to the risk of credential theft from attackers on the remote host. If you enable this policy setting, the host supports restricted admin or remote credential guard. So anyway, anyone who wants to remotely get access to your credentials, so it is saving you from that. So it makes sense. As long as we read that all, obviously then we make an informed decision. Enumerate administrators, and this is disabled, which is very, very good. Like some script they can put there, and that script looks for administrators on a machine. So it won't let anyone search for admin accounts on a local machine. So this is a very good setting, and it should be. Enumerate just means search, right? So this policy setting controls whether administrator accounts are displayed when a user attempts to elevate running application. By default, administrator accounts are not displayed when the user attempts to elevate a running application. If you enable this policy setting, all local administrator accounts on the PC will be displayed. Okay, so this is actually when we double click exe file and it asks for username password. So at that time, at least administrator account should not be showing, and it actually does not show. So if you enable it, then it will show the administrator account. So hacker will know, oh, that's the administrator account here, which has all the powers. So yeah, basically it does not show. Username password screens are always blank, right? Block direct memory access, and that is the policy setting allows you to block direct memory access for all hot pluggable PCI downstream ports until a user logs into Windows. Once a user logs in, Windows will enumerate the PCI devices connected to the host, plug PCI ports. Every time the user locks the machine, DMA will be blocked and blocked on hot plug PCI ports with no children devices until the user logs in again. So it just protects us from, suppose somebody actually connected some devices. Actually, it says about PCI devices, which are on motherboard, that you attach. Somebody, suppose you just went for the day and you come the next day, but at night, last night, somebody opened the PC and attached some device there. So that device, suppose you go for computer motherboard, and yeah, these are the motherboards there. On the PCI slots, if you somebody had put some devices, when you start the machine and log in from and the user logs in, then yeah, this hot plug and play device or hot plug device, whatever was installed, suppose a graphics card or something else, actually, yeah, something else. So then it would be not enabled. So PCI slots are these, right? Anyway, so Microsoft thinks about so many ways to attack because those reports are coming there. So you have to go through what are you protecting there. So direct memory access is just about anybody who has put on a device in your machine and you don't know when you log in, it's gonna be hot pluggable. It's gonna just get enabled. So it will just simply block any extra device. Device guard here, virtualization based security, and turns on virtualization based security VBS at the next reboot. Virtualization based security uses the Windows hypervisor to provide support for security services. So basically what it does is, if I go to the diagram here, so if your Windows is there, then There's hypervisor installed there. Okay. My writing. Hypervisor. Now, suppose you install, you go to some website and you're putting some credentials, or
Richard.
you're opening some file there, and then you are trying to, and this file is malicious. So you're downloading some file, you're opening some file, there's something malicious that you're about to open and or introduce to the PC. So what happens is this credential guard, it just opens a VM and opens your site here. And this VM is disconnected to all kinds of, outer communication. Whatever happens here does not affect anything outside in your PC or in the network. So it just opens that website inside your hypervisor in a virtual machine, right? So that's what's going on with the credential guard. But what's the problem with that? Well, first of all, the benefit is that you open any malicious item in a virtual machine that is cut off from your laptop as well as desktop. There's no connectivity, there's no transfer of anything going on from this virtual machine. It's a totally separate environment, secluded environment. But the thing is, it's gonna take your laptop CPU and RAM. And do you want to allow that? Suppose you give every employee maybe 32 GB RAM, i7 quad core, some very good machine that can handle a virtual machine opening as well, opening and closing. So then you can introduce that a bit more powerful systems. Otherwise, end users open so many tabs in so many browsers that it is already slow, and this needs some powerful machine. But the feature is so good, whatever malicious, if known as malicious, will open in a secluded, quarantined environment in your machine. So that's that setting. And well, if we implement that, so it's going to then install, at least hypervisor will be there. So virtualization based security, and if we go for not
Richard.
configured here and not configured, and launch system guard. So launch system guard is enables secure launch if supported by hardware. So system guard, if during the start of the system, whatever files are used and if they need to be protected. Turn on credential guard. This is UEFI lock as well. So that is good. So when you start, there's BIOS, and the next version of BIOS is UEFI, where you can go for changing boot devices and anything, right? All the settings in BIOS. The next one is UEFI. So credential guard for that, anyone should not be connecting to UEFI other than the administrators. Device installation, then it keeps going. Block hardware device installation by setup classes. That's very good, because then you are not adding or letting anyone add any devices to this laptop. Well, USB is also one of those. So USB will be blocked as well as soon as it connects, or external drives that you are connecting. In our company, yes, we cannot use USB at all. So transferring data, you can do it through OneDrive and share it over, OneDrive to anyone, but you cannot use USB. Device lock. So this is yes. Now to these machines, we cannot connect any external devices. Device lock password. Now this is repeating now, like we configured it in configuration profile already, the password related settings. So I'm gonna not configure it because we're going to next apply, right? So we have to check that what is already configured in configuration profiles and what is not. So not configured is one thing that for device lock, we don't want to repeat this, just like BitLocker. DMA guard, enumeration of external devices, incompatible with kernel DMA protection. Again, enumeration means search of external devices incompatible with kernel DMA protection. So anyway, DMA protection, we already talked about that when there is a pluggable device somebody has put there. So when the user logs in, that device gets activated. So enumeration of external devices that are, this means that hacker would be searching for those devices that can bypass DMA protection, that can bypass the hot pluggable devices that are already there. So there's a question from Sal. Are you doing this for your board of directors or secretaries? We're doing it for everyone.
They're included.
Okay.
They're
So
part of the meeting, right?
yeah, but yeah,
Yeah.
we're doing it for the whole company. Event
Oh,
log
whole
service.
org.
Mhm. Event log service here. Application log maximum file size in KB. So it's gonna enable a lot of stuff if you apply this security baseline. Lots of new stuff will be implemented across the devices. So yes, you have to keep in mind that what are you implementing here. So well, there will be log files created there because up there, audit logs we enabled. Lots and lots of types of audit logs we enabled. So the log files should be given a size as well. So 32 MB would be the max size here for the log files that record events with time extension. So experience, block Windows Spotlight, and that is, all kinds of secure features are there. Allows IT admins to turn off all Windows Spotlight features. Windows Spotlight on lock screen, Windows tips, Microsoft consumer features, and other related features. So whatever pops up or gives the tips there are all Spotlight features. You're gonna block it. That's not good. On lock screen, sometimes there are some pop-ups coming in. Suppose your battery's about to die, there's a pop-up coming or another thing. So yeah, you have to check that out. But I will just go not configured here. Third-party suggestions in Windows Spotlight, block consumer-specific features. Yeah, okay, consumer-specific features. At that time also we were doing Googling for pretty much everything. So Windows Spotlight, does it affect our company anyway? Oh yeah, these are the wallpapers. Spotlight is an option for the lock screen background that displays different background images on the lock screen. Okay, that's what we disabled. There actually we did not do anything. Yeah, so this means it was disabled. That's why our lock wallpapers are not changing once customer user said that it's not changing. I said I have to check 1,000 policies. So yeah, please create a ticket if it's a big deal for you. So she said, all right, leave it. Okay, File Explorer and block data execution prevention, very good. Data execution prevention can allow certain legacy plugin applications to function without terminating Explorer. Yeah, so some older applications that use to execute data, they will be disabled. Block heap termination on corruption. Heap termination corruption can allow certain legacy plugin applications to function without terminating Explorer immediately. Again, same thing, but it's also some old applications that are trying to run some data that could be harmful. Okay. Firewall. Now there's separate firewall settings also there. And firewall settings were there in configuration profile. If I go for, if it opens today, okay, configuration profile here, and this company endpoint protection where we did that. So firewall, there you go. So firewall was something that we enabled here. So configuration profile has firewall setting. Yes, you can do your homework in what aspect of the settings were enabled here. And if it is being repeated here, is that exactly the same thing or there's something more here that was not there? So if I just give you one example of, let's compare. Otherwise, yeah, you have to, when you're implementing that, you have to really compare properly. So this is a set of firewall settings, global settings, then there's network settings, then there's domain, private, public, and firewall rules. So global settings, file transfer, security association, and pre-shared API exec. If I go here, Inbound connections blocked, outbound connections blocked, inbound notifications blocked, different, right? So this goes to another aspect of that actually deals with another aspect. Obviously, why would they repeat the whole sections, right? That would just hurt their reputation as well. That, oh, they just want to show we have so many policies. But yeah, I can see clearly that in configuration profiles, it's just talking about, oh, but if I go to domain, stealth mode, IPsec secure, shielded, unicast, inbound notifications, default action. If I go back there, yeah, it's different. It's totally different. So yeah, you have to check this side of the firewall, this aspect of firewall, and then you'd see Microsoft has given its own recommendation for you already. You just have to decide, is it good for us? Inbound connections blocked. You're kidding me. Okay, so firewall profile, inbound connections blocked. Yeah, I mean, whatever port we allow, only from that port, the inbound connection should be coming, and everything else should be blocked, which is secure. And I think I did not change any of those options, but I'm gonna check now on Monday. Outbound connections required. So yeah, it should be allowed. This is how firewall works. Traffic coming from outside to your computer is blocked. Traffic going from inside to outside of your computer is always open, right? That is something. Inbound notifications blocked, and that is notification. Any notification coming, you want to block it, you don't want to block it, up to you. Maybe you block it for all the users, but you don't put administrator accounts there, or you create another policy where it's a bit lenient for administrators. So that could be also possible. But here firewall profile private, firewall profile domain. So domain firewall profile when you're in the company, private profile, firewall profile when you are at home, and then there's public as well when you're obviously outside in restaurants or anywhere. The profiles are all pretty much the same settings. Firewall is enabled, allowed. Wow. Do you allow firewall to be enabled? Are you kidding me? But if there is a block setting there as well that you don't allow firewall to be even enabled. The whole setting is okay, and that's basically what firewall does. What they're saying that inbound is always blocked and outbound is always open. So just saying yes to it. Maybe somebody wants to themselves try to disable firewall, so they won't be able to do that because this policy is requiring that the firewall should be allowed open. Internet Explorer, whoa, we don't use that. Internet Explorer is, but we didn't block it. I don't think we have Internet Explorer in Windows 10 as well. And Windows 11 doesn't have it, we know that. But Windows 10 also does not have it. Storing virtual machine. Okay, anyway. So, but if Internet Explorer is there, then there are settings here. We kind of didn't change it because Microsoft already configured some disable, some enable. When we went through a little more, we found that it does make sense wherever the features are disabled and wherever are enabled. But this is already discontinued, so we are not supposed to be using it. If it's there, go ahead and block it or upgrade your systems where Internet Explorer is not there. And smart screen should block.
Quick question. This is anything by default setting, so we have to change or something. We go for the standardized. Okay, this is standard setting for all the corporate level, or we have the company policy wise only. We change.
So Microsoft has given their recommendations and left it to us to change it to whatever we want. Okay. And we have to be knowledgeable in terms of security. And yeah, I could just go ahead with these 100 plus policies, and I could, just copy it and Google everything. There's learn more here they've given. So we have to go deep down and then select according to our company needs. And second thing is that we test it, the whole thing in a separate set of environment, and then we implement it. So we're very secure. Microsoft has, yes, given their recommendation and they left it to us. Now go ahead and research. If your company doesn't want this or they're okay with the other option, go ahead with that. But these are Microsoft recommendations.
So we can apply a template or we just follow, go next to next, so we can upload the CSV file like template stuff, you can create a template as a standard template for the policies.
Well, this is the template, and we can change those options. We can create another policy where these options are changed, and we implement it on 5 or 10 users. There is no upload of CSV for these settings here. It's
Okay.
just there it is. Click, and configure and apply. That's it. Mhm. Okay, so Internet Explorer, yeah, this should not be used if some of you have older operating systems and they're still actually, I'm saying some of you, but my company, we have in Azure actually Windows Server 2012, which we are about to upgrade now since Microsoft has really ended all the support. If any of your companies have older operating systems, they are just sitting ducks waiting for hackers to use them and use your company's network to attack on government sites or bank sites. And when they research back, they find your company to be responsible. So yeah, anything legacy, close it. Microsoft still has it. Maybe in next versions, maybe they even remove this Internet Explorer. But if companies like us, also, I know very big companies that have older operating systems that haven't been changed, and they're saying, "Hey, nothing happened, so why should we change?" And they're still using Internet Explorer as well. Many big companies are doing that, like not like a policy, but they just are careless. Administrators are careless. So yeah, that's why Microsoft says, "Hey, whatever we recommended, implement that. In case you have Internet Explorer anywhere, so this will implement on that too." Wow, whoa, this is just Internet Explorer going on. This is like pretty much every section of Internet Explorer. Are you kidding me? Is it repeating or something wrong with me? This is too big. Okay, that's a good idea actually, that Microsoft took it too seriously. That Microsoft knows that many companies will not even upgrade it, even if there's end support. And I know some companies that didn't, and they're using it. So yes, go ahead, Intune, through Intune, just disable what Microsoft recommends, right? Okay. So local policies, security options, block remote logon with a blank password. Yes, very good. Remote logon with blank password. You kidding me? Actually, this is by default implemented in Windows. Way back, I once tried to connect and I forgot to actually put the password to that user. I was connecting remotely, so it just didn't work. But yes, this is still a policy as well. So suppose somebody changed it through, uh, registry. Minutes of lock screen inactivity until screensaver activates. So 15 minutes, we have 5 minutes. Many users in our company, and this is a common one in other companies as well, they just go away for coffee and somebody just asks, "Hey, let's go." And they just leave their machines open, which is a very bad thing. So yeah, you can keep at least 5 minutes or go down to even 3 minutes to lock the screen. But 5 minutes should be there. Smart card removal behavior. Smart cards are just cards that you put in your laptop for login, for authentication, right? So smart card removal behavior, locks workstation. So yeah, if smart card is removed, then lock the workstation. So uh, uh, Lenovo or smart cards for laptops, suppose. So yeah, these would be no Google Text as your location. Okay. Images. Yeah. So smart cards, it would be like this. Old school would be this. Oh, that's actually the other SanDisk. But wow, you can put a credit card as well. You're kidding me. Anyway, smart cards really let you log in, as well as there are other things as well. Excuse me. So yeah, Sal says in the chat, Amreen Barry needs a EMS license. So I think my user would also need the EMS license. She has E5 license, which is in Tune enabled
Yeah.
already.
Can you check?
So it
Both
does
you.
not need that. But let's check. Why is it asking? Do you get an error?
Company portal, yeah. The company portal. I'll send you a picture.
Looking at WhatsApp. Okay, I'll look at. Where's the picture? It's
Right
not.
there.
It's not.
Not licensed, so I need both the E5 plus EMS5 or
Oh,
EMS
it's there.
and
It says
security.
unlicensed. No, it
Yeah.
doesn't even have E5.
Yeah, so company portal wouldn't work. Yeah, yeah, both.
Okay, you have
And
no
power
licenses.
and power automate.
Ah, Power Automate.
I'll
No,
take that
I
too.
have to take out E5 from someone else. Sandberg? No. Okay. Okay. So we were talking about yeah. So smart card removal. You can see the smart cards there. As soon as smart card is removed, lock workstation, which is a very good feature as well. Require client to always digitally sign communications. Yeah. So this security setting determines whether all secure channel traffic initiated by the domain member must be signed or encrypted when a computer joins a domain. A computer account is created. After that, when the system starts, it uses the computer account password to create a secure channel with the domain controller for its domain. This secure channel is used to perform operations. Yeah, we do that. And if anyone is not, so they're just saying that login from domain-based user accounts, and those are very secure. So if you're using a user account which is created in Azure or Entra ID, yes, that is secure, so it's okay. But if this is yes, and somebody's trying to use non-domain based user account, so that will be not allowed. So that's, well, also good security. Prevent clients from sending unencrypted passwords to third-party SMB servers. SMB is server message block, and it's between two Windows machines. This protocol is used between two Windows machines to share files. So it says here prevents clients from sending unencrypted. So this is good. Yeah. So yes is good. Unencrypted passwords should not be shared over. So two Windows machine. Now
Third party SMB servers, right? Would be servers, they're saying third party. So what third party SMB servers would you be using?
So SMB is between Windows machine, right? So third-party servers, it could be
Yeah, but
application
it says
servers or no
servers, not
application
machine.
servers. So
Third party.
yeah, so okay, let's just check this. If
Does
this
that make
process is
sense?
labeled as
Yeah.
yeah, SMB is between Windows machines.
Yeah,
This
no,
protocol is
I
used
know,
by
no, I
Windows.
know that. No, I'm aware of that. Yeah, or Samba, whatever the Samba. Yeah, but
Mhm.
uh,
Yeah. Okay.
they're saying
So
servers, third party. What
yeah,
third
so
party
that's what I'm
servers are we talking about?
trying to.
We don't have any.
Yeah. No, if there are any, then it is good. In companies, they do have that. Reactor is prevented from sending plain text passwords to non-Microsoft SMB servers that do not support password encryption during authentication. Sending unencrypted. So yeah, basically, again, it's about unencrypted passwords, and companies would always have those servers that are connecting with Microsoft machines as well using their Microsoft protocol. So yeah, even if we don't have, unencrypted passwords, delivery anywhere is not good. Requires server digitally signing communication always. Yeah. So digitally sign communications, which means that you're using some kind of security or authentication or some secure protocol to exchange data. So that's also, we are already doing that. If you're on Azure account, you're already good. Um, and prevent anonymous enumeration of SAM accounts. So SAM accounts are all the password accounts, right? SAM files are used to be attacked by hackers way back, but they have gone really secure now. So yeah, anonymously, if somebody's searching or enumerating, then it should prevent it. It's already, there are many security that is implemented in hackers searching for accounts. So yes, this is an extra thing that comes from here as well. Block anonymous enumeration of SAM accounts and shares. Also shares, when you're sharing something, so anonymously somebody's searching, that should be blocked. Restrict anonymous access to named pipes and shares. Yeah, so any connectivity between the machines, endpoint should be blocked if it is anonymously being accessed. Allow remote calls to security accounts manager. So this policy setting allows you to restrict remote RPC, remote procedure call, RPC connections to SAM. RPC, again, from one machine to another, remote procedure call. You're trying to make connections through applications or through, well, tools or, scripts. And they have some Morse code here. No, it's not Morse code. It's just some format of a restriction or they're implementing. You want to go ahead and Google it. It's okay. Preventing storing LAN manager hash value on next password change. You kidding me? So yeah, security on Windows side, that is, the security setting determines if at the next password change, the LAN manager or LM hash value for the new password is stored. The LM hash is relatively weak and prone to attack as compared with the cryptographically stronger Windows NT hash. Since the LM hash is stored on the local computer in the security database, the passwords can be compromised if the security database attack. So older ways to save passwords will be blocked. Okay. So yes, we see that Microsoft has already given its recommendations, and majority of them perfectly make sense unless you have more knowledge and experience and you have talked to some support, Microsoft support even, that hey, I want to go the other way, then yeah, go ahead. Otherwise, they are perfect recommendations by Microsoft. Authentication levels and NTLM version 2. Obviously, that's all authentication, and it's version 2 or the latest version, whichever is there. And the older versions will be refused, which is very good, makes sense. Minimum session security for NTLM SSP based clients. Again, yeah, NTLM v2 and encryption would be good, but there are other options and lesser secure options as well. Yeah, if some of your applications are legacy, you really want those applications to work and they don't support NTLM for some reason, or older versions of NTLM, then you can only go for other options. Otherwise, this other options are for backward compatibility. Administrator elevation prompt behavior, prompt for consent on the secure desktop. So yeah, if there is any elevation required, so a window will pop up asking for username, password. So yes, prompt for consent on the secure desktop. Yes, do ask that, hey, where's the administrator account? Otherwise, I'm not letting you log in to that application. Okay, what happened here? Yeah. So it goes on, and you can see that how we had to go for it. Detect application installations and prompt for elevation. Yes, very good. You know, okay. So detect application installations and prompt for elevation. Only allow UI access applications for secure locations. So this is just UI or user interface access applications for secure locations. And this means that some script-based or code-based access, this policy setting controls whether user interface accessibility UI access programs can automatically disable the secure desktop for elevation prompts used for standard user. So UIA programs, there are types of programs, user interface accessibility programs that could actually block or avoid actually the elevation of administrator, right? So they are saying only allow UI access applications for secure locations wherever the desktop is joined to the domain, laptop is joined to the domain, only allow there to pop up. Require admin approval mode for administrators. Yeah, administrators should be approving if you want to go for admin mode to and open an application with admin mode. Use admin mode, approval mode. Yeah. Virtualize for file and registry write failures to per user location. Seriously, it's every nick and corner of the operating system. So that's why it is. That's why Intune has a reputation. I mean, they have not left any nick and corner there uncovered. So when we are implementing something, it's uh, time consuming. But that's why Intune, everyone is now going for Intune, and there's so many demand for, hey, do you know Intune? This policy setting controls whether application write failures are redirected to defined registry and file system locations. This policy setting mitigates applications that run as administrator and write runtime application data to. Okay, so if the applications are reporting those failures or writing those logs to the correct location, it's okay. If they're writing somewhere else, they are prevented. So Microsoft Defender, and that is, you're kidding me. What is it? Oh, that's yeah, Microsoft Defender. Here it is. Block Adobe Reader from creating child process. Wow. So child processes. If I go to taskbar here, and then there is that main process here, and then if you go there, so oh seriously, okay, so I haven't opened that many tabs there, but yeah, there are processes that are supporting those tabs. So child processes are open, and Google Chrome, yeah, there are many tabs, but not that many. But there are child processes that supporting maybe multiple tabs. So you can see that. So Adobe Reader might be opening also. So it is blocking those, and we have enabled that feature, and we are still using Adobe Reader perfectly, and it does not disrupt, right, anyone's work. But it's just adding more processes, and maybe there were attacks that happened using some of the child processes, so Microsoft blocks them now. Block Office communication apps from creating child processes. Okay. Yeah, what I showed you there, MS Word, if I open that, maybe it opens a lot of child processes that could be actually hackers could take benefit of some of those. When set to enable, Office communication applications will be blocked from creating child processes. When set to audit only, it will just audit. Set to not configured, setting Windows default, which is off. This attack surface reduction ASR rule is controlled by the following grid. So they're just saying that you want to learn more why we do that, then go ahead and learn more. But they're saying that we're not going to allow, and then the main thing is attack surface reduction, ASR. They are implementing ASR, which is attack surface reduction, reducing the attack surface, obviously. So child processes can be also, or have been reported as being used for attacks by hackers. Enter how often 0 to 24 hours to check for security intelligence updates. For how often 0 to 4, so every 4 hours it's going to check for security intelligence updates from Microsoft Defender, which should be connected to Intune. Scan type, quick scan, yeah, go ahead. We're talking Defender already, right? So it is Defender you're configuring here through Intune. Defender schedule scan day every day. Schedule scan start when you want Defender to scan. In our company, there's a problem here that obviously the laptops, when they take home employees, they're shut down. So 9 to 5 laptops are open. It's not like desktops, which always were left open. Laptops, we just close the lid and there you go. They're closed. So 9 to 5 is the time when they're open, majority of the cases. In that case, you want to select that time, which is, or tell the users, hey, can you keep the laptop opened on that day from 5 to 6, because we're going to start a scan there. And that's that day when the employee is working from home, right? So you can do that. Otherwise, during office time, maybe 12 to 1, you can go for that too. Maybe 12 o'clock till 1 o'clock, they are supposed to have a break. So anyway, choose your options there wisely. Cloud delivered protection level. So do you want high protection, high plus, or zero tolerance? Wow. So zero tolerance, It's going to go really strict. Specify the level of cloud delivered protection, not configured, uses the default Microsoft Defender antivirus blocking level and provides strong detection without increasing the risk of detecting legitimate files. So yeah, it says that false alarm can happen if you go zero tolerance. This means that it could think, Microsoft Defender could think that some files that actually are not threat, it could take them as threat, and they could be one of your most important files. And those, if those files are quarantined, you cannot access them. You have to contact administrator, and then administrator has to check why it was quarantined. And yeah, so zero tolerance can have adverse effects as well. Your legit files could be false alarmed as well. And scan network files, yes, please do scan. Turn on real-time protection, yes, thank you. And scan scripts that are used in Microsoft browsers, yes, very much. Very, very yes. And scan archive files, yes, whatever files are archived, zip files or cap files, right? So those will be also scanned. Yes, please do. Actually, Microsoft Defender has that setting, or some of those settings are there as well, but it could be, not exactly this, and it could be that if you enable there and same is here, they should not be conflicting. They're implementing the same thing, but if there is a policy here that is doing something else, and the policy in Microsoft Defender is doing something else, that would be a conflict. So yeah, this is just implementing some security, which I'm sure Defender area also has. Defender application itself also has those settings. Scan incoming email messages. What? Yes, but okay. So Defender does that. Yeah. Scan removable drives during full scan. Removable drives. So suppose you connect a device. We don't allow USB and external USB drives, so that really does not even apply. But I don't remember changing any of those options. I kept it on default. Block Office applications from injecting code into other processes. Okay, so however it does that, it's blocked. But when set to yes, Office applications will be blocked from injecting code into other processes. When set to audit, yeah, it's reducing attack surface. So what is it? You can go learn more, but that's a lot of stuff to learn more. But yeah, Microsoft, you can see the block here. JavaScript, VBScript, launching downloadable, executable content. Some of those we understand, some of those we have to research. But there's so much that made sense that was recommended by Microsoft, right? So sometimes, yeah, you want to research, go ahead. But sometimes we had just trusted Microsoft, okay, and it doesn't look like something really showstopper for our day-to-day Word, Excel, PowerPoint. Our employees just do that. So I don't think it's a showstopper here for average employee. Block credential stealing from the Windows Local Security Authority subsystem, LSASS. So yeah, it should be blocked, it's enabled. So very good areas where I think Windows also has taken their own security measures, but will be coming from here as well that, hey, we're making sure these known threat criteria are blocked. So that's very good. It makes your machine very strong in terms of, it is also called security hardening, right? Enable network protection. Yeah. Defender sample submission consent. Send safe samples automatically. Well, it would be then sending automatically in the background samples without asking you. Or if you go for prompt, now whatever it suspects, it's going to pop up as a prompt. End user sees that prompt and sees, oh, we found a sample that is malicious, I think, and the user will panic. So what do you want to do here? So it's up to you, but we kept it to, in my company at least, we kept it to default. But it's a sample. It doesn't delete anything from but it sends to Microsoft, hey, I think this is malicious. Do you think so, Microsoft? And whatever they say in return. MS security guide. Okay, that's going on. So it's ongoing, ongoing. Yeah. 12:02.
Break.
Yeah, let's take a break and come back. So 12, 23.
I didn't realize the time. I gotta take off, Amir.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I gotta take off of things that I forgot about.
Okay. Cool. So yeah.
Enjoy the rest of the class and week. I might
Okay.
check. Can you check to see if the device came up? I think it's ready. I gotta take the family out here. You know, family's important, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Family is important.
Yeah, it is up.
That's good, right? Okay. But it's got all the policies and everything too. But yeah, it's not compliant.
Well, it's gonna
What's
take
missing?
time, I guess.
Okay. Oh, I just ran this thing 300 or 400 times.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah, it's gonna take time.
that's fine. No worry. No rush on that. But we got what, 4 machines now? We can play with?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. 4
Okay.
VMs. All right. Take care.
All right. All right.
Take care of the quiet crowd here.
Yeah. Well, yeah, let's take a break. 12 class starts. Well, let's resume. And so what we were talking about here, yeah, it's pretty boring. All the policies there, yeah, it looks like that. But if we go through that, then obviously we will know why Intune has this reputation for, you know, one of the most sought after MDM solution. So here, security guide, yeah, SMB, apply UAC restrictions to local accounts on network logon. This enables UAC, user access control, right? So user account control actually, and that is okay. So here, yeah, we have MS Security Guide and structured exception handling override protection, SMB version 1 server. Older SMB servers would be blocked, digest authentication. Again, disabled. This is older authentication system, legacy authentication system. If we go for MSS legacy, so network IPv6 source routing protection level. So they have IPv6 routing protection as highest, network ignore, NetBIOS name release. So this was the older name resolution method that is also going to be ignored with these policies. Network ICMP redirects override OSPF generated routes. Wow, seriously, are you kidding me? Network ICMP. ICMP is for pinging. So the hackers would like to know when they are pinging. Then through pinging they would know that which device is what name or what IP is what name is what IP. So yeah, that would be, and OSPF is a protocol for Cisco actually, but open shortest part first, but this can also be used by any routing devices. So that is all also disabled. Microsoft recommendations again and again, we're seeing that. Require password on wake while on battery. So yeah, if your laptop is on battery and it wakes up, you open it, then password should be required. Very good. Require password on wake while plugged in. Yes, whenever you wake up the laptop and try to log in. So first it should ask for a password. Standby states when sleeping while on battery. So standby is disabled. So this policy setting manages whether or not Windows is allowed to use standby states when putting the computer in a sleep state. If you enable or do not configure this policy setting, Windows uses standby states to put the computer in a sleep state. If you disable this policy, standby states S1, S3 are not allowed. So there are some standby states there as well. Computer is on standby and can connect or log in right away or open right away instead of starting, and then it takes time. So those standby states, if you want to go further, you can go and click learn more for that. But yeah, Microsoft recommends they are disabled. Remote assistance is disabled. Remote assistance. I think remote assistance is so this is Windows allow remote assistance invitations to be sent. So remote assistance is like when we do that. With user permission, we can see user screen and it asks users a lot. So that is remote assistance and it is disabled. Remote desktop services, and that is remote desktop services client connection encryption level high, block drive redirection. So remote desktop services, you connect remotely to the desktop, but RDS are also like Citrix services. And Microsoft has a solution, remote desktop services, which is like a Citrix where you connect remotely to, you can open desktops or heavy applications on your cell phone, and they're just icons on your applications or your devices, and they open. When you click that, they actually work on the remote server, but the speed is very good in front of you. So anyway, this is that solution. If you have that solution, then these are the settings for that. Block password saving, prompt for password upon connection, secure RPC communication. If you have RDS services like Citrix services, remote management, block client digest authentication, block storing run as credentials. So again, the digest authentication was this policy setting allows you to manage whether the Windows remote management VNRM client uses digest authentication. If you enable that, so it's the older way of authenticating, and that is blocked, right? Storing run as credentials. So whatever credentials you put there to connect, so they are normally exposed, they are encrypted, so they will be blocked as well. Client, so all the basic authentication, old authentication, legacy authentication that are less secure or unencrypted traffic of all types will be disabled. So this is pretty good policies that they are introducing here. And RPC unauthenticated client options. So only authenticated clients, like the clients have to be connected to Microsoft Entra ID or Azure Active Directory, or they should be connected to it could be some kind of authentication that they should be using. So that's very good. Search, wow. Disable indexing encrypted items. So indexing means storing it locally, right? So it could be searched faster, caching as well, but indexing is creating kind of a index of what's there, what's here, or where is the file located. So disable indexing encrypted items. So whatever has been encrypted obviously is deemed secure. Security sensitive data is always encrypted. So that should not be indexed for easier searches. So that's the whole thing. Smart screen, that's where we have to be careful. If you turn on smart screen, it gets so nasty that I may have mentioned that before, but I had a bad experience with smart screen. Smart screen was enabled on one client machine, and he wanted to open or install that application real fast. It was urgent, and I tried to do it with my admin credentials, and smart screen would not even let me install it with admin credentials. So that was bad, right? So that's why Smart screen. If you want to enable, at least configure it in a way that it should allow you to run the, it should allow you to at least have an admin prompt. If Smart Screen does not even allow admin prompt, then yeah, even administrators are unable to install the application. So I had to actually disable the Smart Screen. So block users from ignoring Smart Screen. So yeah, I mean, we need to do some more labs. I'm just gonna not configure this. And but yeah, you can do some more research on how to enable, at least let the admin username password, it should prompt for. And system boot start driver initialization, good unknown and bad critical, good unknown and bad critical. Wow. So boot start driver initialization. So this is just when the computer starts, there are drivers there. Actually, this is what section is this? Oh yeah, this is system section. Yeah, when the system starts. So at that time, what is the drivers that are used to start the software that is used to start the machine. So for that, oh man, seriously, this policy setting allows you to specify which boot start drivers are initialized based on a classification determined by an early launch anti-malware boot start driver. Early launch anti-malware. The early launch anti-malware boot start driver can return the following classifications for each boot start driver. Good, the driver has been signed and has not been tampered with. Bad, the driver has been identified as malware. It is recommended that you do not allow known bad drivers to be initialized. Bad, but required for boot, the driver has been identified as malware. Unknown, this driver has not been attested to by your malware detection application and has not been classified by the early launch anti-malware boot start driver. So yeah, there are and critical obviously words. So they're just saying that try to check, put a check on all these. Wi-Fi, then there's a block automatically connecting to Wi-Fi hotspots and block internet sharing. Block automatically connecting to Wi-Fi. So that this is very good. We should not be automatically connected to Wi-Fi hotspots. We should ask for a password, and we should be careful that if it's a public place, obviously anyone else would have enabled a sniffer. You send a critical email from your machine from a public Wi-Fi. That email could be, grabbed, and even next stages would be to email content changed and sent again, and it would be wrong content. So anyway, yeah, automatically devices should not be joining any Wi-Fi hotspot. Block internet sharing. So if you have the password, you can join. Block internet sharing. Internet sharing is a common feature that if you have internet, you can create your or make your Windows machine a hotspot as well. So your Windows laptop will not be a hotspot if this is blocked. Windows Connection Manager, block connection to non-domain networks. Yeah, so if you're not joined to the domain from that machine, you cannot connect. Windows Ink Workspace, Ink Workspace enabled. So Windows PowerShell script block logging. PowerShell script block logging, and yeah, obviously PowerShell is so this policy setting enables logging of all PowerShell script input to the Microsoft Windows PowerShell operational event log. Yeah, so it will just simply edit audit whatever scripts are being run. Okay, that's a lot of policies, and we actually made some changes as well to very few of them. And we talked about many of them, but that's a long list and how they are supposed to be configured. Microsoft has best recommendations there. I'm just going to click next. And scope tags, we haven't created a scope tags yet that it's going to implement on the whole organization or just some departments or anything like that. So I'm just going to click next here as well. And I'm going to go for groups. So we have just one Intune group on which this endpoint policy will be implemented. So I'll go for Intune. I guess that's the name. So it says that this group has 3 users and BitLocker devices. Yep. So the security group I have added there, I'm going to click create now. So this is one MDM security baseline policy. If we go further, there's Microsoft Defender for Endpoint Baseline, security baseline for Microsoft Edge, Windows 365 security baseline. So Windows 365 is also new product that has been, it's going to be famous. So it's Windows in the cloud. Microsoft 365 apps for enterprise security. So there are so many other things, just like we had for, the group, the configuration profiles. We had so many types of profiles there. So there's so many types of baselines. I'm going to fly over these others because one we have implemented, the other one we're just going to fly over and try to check. We're not going to go in depth now. But yes, in your production environment, you will have to go in depth as well. So here it's Defender for Endpoint. So MS Defender for Endpoint. Now some of the policies there are also there in configuration profiles that we configured before. So ASR, attack surface reduction related policies are there for Defender for Endpoint. Block office communication, you can see that we just talked about that before. And BitLocker related configurations we disabled in the previous one as well. And enable full disk or use space only encryption for OS and fixed data drives. So yeah, we have actually configured some of the BitLocker policies already. We don't need to implement here. Device guard also, this is the same policy as before. It just we read there. Device installation, block hardware installation by setup classes. Wow, same. So kind of repetition of some of the policies. So I'm just not configured that. Well, if I'm not configured everything, then why am I even implementing that? Just firewall again. Oh, same. Inbound actions, inbound. So it has some similar policies like the previous one, but the previous one baseline that we implemented, that was, previous baseline that we implemented, that was a huge set of policies, right? Suppose you want to implement a small set of policies, then you come here. Otherwise, strangely, this one is also, this is firewall profile domain. So this is pretty much the same. Microsoft Defender, scan all download files, scan type. Oh man, this is also, oh, so the whole thing was also there already in previous one. Smart screen. Okay, this smart screen is, I guess some of the options are only here, but otherwise all other options are the same. This is, yeah, wow, this is amazing. I'm just going to close that. I'm not going to actually configure that because this would be overlapping. So majority of the policies that were here in this baseline are here as well. You want to implement small set of policies instead of large set of policies, you come here and do that. Or you want to implement from there, you have more options and choices there. Just for Edge, there are, because, majority of our users use Microsoft Chrome. Did I say Microsoft Chrome? Seriously. So yeah, they use Chrome from Microsoft Intune deployed. So Microsoft Edge, I use crazily Microsoft Edge because it's a Microsoft product. So I don't use Chrome at all. for my office work. I only use Edge for that. But very few users in my company do that. So for Edge, obviously for any browser, we should have some kind of policies there. Okay. Smart screen settings. Again, this is something, yeah, this is smart screen for specifically browser. Configure Microsoft Defender smart screen and warning messages to help protect your users from potential phishing scams and malicious software. So this is good. Yes, we should implement that. Obviously, attacks come from browser. So enabled, configure Microsoft Defender for smart screen for the Microsoft Edge. Configure Defender smart screen to block potentially unwanted apps for Edge browser. Yes. Prevent bypassing Microsoft Defender smart screen prompts. Suppose Microsoft Defender says that, hey, this is malicious, and do not offer any, that the users can avoid and bypass Microsoft Defender security prompts. Prevent bypassing of Microsoft Defender smart screen warnings after download. So yeah, it's okay. Prevent network request. So no bypassing up there. Network request settings specific whether to allow insecure websites to make requests to more private network endpoints. So yeah, some insecure websites which are known to be insecure should not be requesting access to certain network endpoints on your network specifically, right? Let me, some insecure website is asking to connect to your network printer or asking to connect to your file server to save the files from that website directly. So yeah, this should not be allowed. Okay, native messaging, that is allow user level native messaging hosts installed without admin permissions. Seriously, native messaging host, if you disable this policy, Microsoft Edge will only use native messaging hosts installed on the system level. By default, if you don't configure policy, Microsoft Edge will allow usage of user level. Like seriously. So if we go for Microsoft Edge and then Microsoft Edge browser policies, and there is oh, did not. I went for this native messaging, allow user native messaging host. It's not even so native Microsoft Edge messaging hosts. So they could be. So create a native messaging host manifest file, go to, so cannot serve Edge use native messaging host. What is native messaging? So there you go. Native messaging host is a module for sending native messaging protocol message marshaled from struct and receiving native messaging protocol message unmarshaled to struct. Wow, this is a developer way of saying this. But yeah, it's the browser based or communication between within the components of browsers and either browser or components of browser and other applications or any sites, tools on the sites that are talking to the browser. So Microsoft has some recommendations: disable, allow user to proceed from the HTTPS warning page, disable. So this means that you go to HTTP website and there's a warning, or HTTPS is not there, that error is there, and you still want to go to the website, so it's going to block you now. Enable browser legacy extension point blocking. I think I should enable that in my office. Enable site isolation for every site. Oh, site isolation. So site process policy can be used to prevent users from opting out of the default behavior of isolating all sites. Isolating sites is just for malicious sites that they should not be opened. They should be isolated. So it's enabled by as a security. Enhanced images enabled, and then force web SQL to be enabled. Minimum TLS version enabled. Show the reload in Internet Explorer mode button in the toolbar. And specifies whether shared array buffers can. So anyway, guys, try to do research more, but I'll simply say I'm trusting Microsoft policies for that. TLS, obviously, transport layer security 1.2 is the latest one. Don't go for the older ones because they are not secure anymore. HTTP allow basic authentication disabled, very good. Supported authentication schemes enabled. Supported authentication schemes, so the better authentication system, newer ones. Supported authentication schemes device, NTLM negotiate. So this is also recommended, enabled for authentication of devices. Extensions, control which extensions cannot be installed. Oh, that's very good. Yeah, control which extension. So you can add the add-ons or extensions here, and on Edge, those extensions would not be installed. So if I'm on Edge here and there are extensions here, collections, favorites, okay. Add-ons, actually, I was saying extensions, this one. So you can, I don't have any extensions, but if I go to manage extensions here, so I can add Chrome extension, I can add Adobe extension or password blocker extension. So you can put that, what extensions are nobody can download. So you have to get the extension ID from there when you just download somewhere and then grab the ID from there. Okay, so yeah, the browser-based security is also good from Microsoft already. So I'm just gonna click next and yeah, next again, and add groups here as well. And Intune, select, next, create. Okay, and then there is my Windows 365 security baseline. So this is obviously a new product, comparatively new product, and new features are there. So if I go for Windows 365, so it is a cloud PC, and obviously you don't have to, I mean, whichever device you're connecting from anywhere, you can just load this on the cloud and work on it, Windows 365, right? And that would be much easier for users. They would be more portable, and Microsoft handles all those devices. So here for Windows 365, Win 365. So yeah, there are some, there's a lot of features for every nick and corner of Windows 365 as well. And you can just go through those policies. I think many of those we have already seen for our endpoint devices for laptops, Windows 11 and 10. So that's why it's something that you can always explore if you have Windows 365. We don't have Windows 365, but if you have, you can go through these and enable. Microsoft again recommends many of the settings already. You can go opposite to that, and if you see fit, otherwise the Microsoft recommendations are also okay. I'm gonna just close that because we don't have Windows 365 there. And Microsoft 365 apps for enterprise security baseline. So this is also apps for enterprise is very important because you will be deploying apps there. So if we go there, apps for enterprise. Next, administrative templates. So apps for enterprise, it says block flash activation in Office documents. Flash activation would be it controls whether the adopt flash control can be activated by Office documents. Note that activation blocking applies only within Office processes. If you enable this policy setting, you can choose from three options: block all activation, block embedding linking, and allow all activation. So Flash, adopt Flash plugin, if you need that enabled for Microsoft, then you can do that. It's blocking it. This means that there may have been attacks through that as well. Block Flash player in Office. So yeah, if in MS Office you need Adobe Flash Player, then you have to unblock it. Otherwise, it's going to be blocked from now on. Some applications do use Flash Player for nice looking sites. So, but Microsoft has its own alternate player as well. I've got the name, but restrict legacy JavaScript execution for Office. And that is access device. So JavaScript execution for all the Office products, it's blocking. Okay. JavaScript. So Adobe, some of the Adobe products and some of the JavaScript product are going to be, if they have some known threats, then those are blocked. Then if you have these applications of PowerPoint 2016, Outlook 2016, I think we have latest ones. Is the latest 2016 or 365? It's 365, right? So what is latest Microsoft Office version? 2021, 2019. No, that's Windows. Latest is 365. Do I need from 2016 to 2021? So yeah, the last one is 2016, and then majority of them would have 2016. So what about well, if I log in, then I would see that. But yeah, 2016 might be installed in many places, so you can secure 2016 MS Office as well. So if I go to any one of those apps, so block macros from running in Office files, VBA macro, Visual Basic, and then disable trust bar notification for unsigned application, require that application add-ins are signed by trusted publisher. So they have very good application security. And if I implement that, obviously, if you have these 2016 versions, at least, security for those would be implemented. And you can just go down if you have 2016, go ahead and Microsoft recommendations are there, but you want to change that, you can do that. I'm going to go next here, not much here, but some of those are actually important. Add groups, Intune. One more thing is, if I go for defaults, I hope it does not be disruptive anywhere else. So when you're implementing that without going through everything, obviously put it on test first with few users and then go for all company. Yeah, so that's overall the Office, it's the endpoint security baselines, just the baselines that we implemented and attached the security group for that. Then there are security tasks here as well. And yeah, that's just a reporting here. You don't need, you can't create anything. It's just whatever tasks were being performed will be reported here. Antivirus configurations when it comes to that. So it's a lot of, it's a reporting going on. And in fact, yes, we in our office, I did not actually have been checking antivirus dashboard. So this would be something as a good reminder for me as well. But there are some policies for antivirus that you can create here as well. Microsoft Defender antivirus will be there in all the devices. So antivirus for Linux, antivirus for Mac OS, but we're going to go for Windows 10, 11, and Windows Server. But this is config manager. Config manager is SCCM, System Center Configuration Manager. If you have that on-premises version of Intune, right, which you deploy as a server in your branch, if you have that, then you can go this way. Otherwise, from Intune purely, you can go here and select a profile, Microsoft Defender antivirus exclusions, Defender antivirus. What are the policies you want? Windows security experience, Defender update. Now, exclusions is a very, very important thing. So what happens is that suppose you have important files here. There's a application here, app, and then it has files. .dll files are there. .exe file is there. So many files are there that are actually we can say batch maybe, but there are many other types as well. Some file extensions are there. So many files are there, right? So some files. So when antivirus starts scanning, if it finds something malicious, it could be false alarm as well. It's not malicious, but it is still considered it is suspected by the antivirus as malicious. So what it does is, if it is scanning and it's you're told the antivirus to scan the malicious file, if you find the malicious file, then just simply quarantine it. So it will simply quarantine a file, or sometimes not rename, but antivirus I've seen, if you configure the antivirus, it actually renames the confirmed malicious files as well, or viruses that are confirmed to have viruses, those files. But basically, that file stops functioning, whatever antivirus does. And if the file that is really important to the application has been quarantined and stopped from functioning, then this app fully stops functioning as well. It happened in our Scotia, when I was in Scotiabank, and our Exchange servers were all deployed in the branch servers. And so those branch servers, somehow when Exchange servers were installed, so exclusions, antivirus exclusions were not implemented. And that is very, very critical when you go for antivirus exclusions. So if antivirus exclusions are not implemented, it's gonna scan all the files in every folder. But if antivirus exclusions is implemented, so suppose you say that application has a path here, C:\\, and then app, and then there are some more path here, and then more path, more subfolders here, more subfolders here. So you can actually exclude, you can tell antivirus, hey, okay, go for the first folder in the app, second folder, but do not go and do not scan these guys. So then you can give the path of the full path of that folder structure here to antivirus exclusion, and it will not scan that, right? So that is very important when it comes to antivirus exclusions. Otherwise, if there's a false alarm and if there's a false alarm and some critical files are renamed or quarantined, that's it. You are, your application will be down because of that, and then you will have to reconfigure the whole application. Okay, so antivirus exclusions, if we go there, so this template allows you to manage settings for Microsoft Defender antivirus that define antivirus exclusions for paths, extensions, and processes. So some extensions in the browser, some extensions for the files .exe, .dll, and processes that are happening here, right? So it can block any process if it's suspicious of that, it's doing some suspicious activity, but exclusions should be there. If I click create here and go for exclusions, I'm not having any paths to exclude here. So excluded extensions, excluded paths. Suppose I go for excluded paths, so it's asking for excluded path here. If I import. How can I import a path? Yeah, so it's gonna be you know, right. Oh, I can type it. So suppose I go to my C drive and I go to this PC, C drive. Now this is the path, right? So C drive, then there's a software here. So suppose I go, this is very, suppose some application here is very, very critical for me. I don't want antivirus to mess up any file for that particular application. So I go to that path and I tell it, okay, so whatever is specifically, I'm just randomly going somewhere, whatever is specifically in this path, hey, antivirus, please do not scan. So that is antivirus exclusion. And so it will not scan that. It will, antivirus scanning will bypass this path. Excluded processes. Yeah, it's not configured, but you can configure any one of those. I'm going to click next, next. And it applies to whose machines. Now we have developers in our company. Every company, majority of the companies have developers. So they can add developers there because they have applications there installed on your PC and they don't want them to be scanned by antivirus. So we can go for add groups and then, okay, Google Chrome's specifically this path should not be scanned, right? So that's antivirus scanning. So next, 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 finish, create. It's not going to scan. It's going to avoid scanning that path, right? So that is antivirus exclusion. If we go for Windows 10, 11, Windows Server and go for other profiles, so there's Defender antivirus now. So that is obviously antivirus is the next generation. Microsoft Defender antivirus is the next generation protection component of Microsoft Defender for endpoint. Next generation protection brings together machine learning, big data analysis, in-depth threat resistance research, and cloud infrastructure to protect devices in your enterprise organization. So yeah, it protects. It's antivirus, right? So do you have so suppose I go for company antivirus setting. So that would be very, very important if it offers certain options there. Now, I have to admit that that I did not visit Microsoft Defender. Actually, I did not visit Intune antivirus area, but in Defender also I did not visit. So by default, whatever is protecting, it's protecting, and we had never had complaints. But after visiting this, it reminds me on Monday that I need to go for, first of all, antivirus dashboard, and I need to see the policies and check, although till now, no complaints, everything okay. But maybe we were actually unprotected, maybe, because no complaints because it was not tough enough. Well, if it was tough enough, it would have given some false alarms as well. This means it's working. I mean, it's working anyway because, again, no complaints. Next. So Defender, and there you go. Allow archive scanning. Oh, so it's not going to scan zip file. Actually, this setting was there back in the endpoint security as well. I mean, the baseline. Allow behavior monitoring, cloud protection, email scanning. Oh, that was there already. We saw that. Allow full scan, removable drive, allow scanning of all downloadable files, real-time monitoring, scanning, script running, UIX. Oh, same. Cloud block level. Cloud extended timeout, days to retain cleaned malware. Okay, yeah, that is more here, which was not there. So yes, Microsoft has configured some of those options, and this is all not configured. So in antivirus profile, when you're creating Microsoft Defender antivirus through Intune, so obviously Microsoft Defender will have to follow the Intune policies. Cloud extended timeout. Wow, that's some of it is already there, and it was actually configured in the baseline for some of it. Like email scanning was yes, full scan was yes. So many of those settings were configured already. But whatever you want to configure here, this is specialized for antivirus. Cloud block level, cloud extended timeout. What? The feature allows Windows Defender antivirus to block a suspicious file for up to 60 seconds and scan it in the cloud to make sure it's safe. Value type is integer, range is 0 to 50, the typical cloud check timeout. So it just says that block suspicious file for up to 60 seconds. Whatever suspicious file it finds, it's gonna block for 60 seconds, not configured. If you go for configuration, so block that suspicious file for how much time you can configure it here. Disable catch up firewall, days to retain cleaned malware. So there was a malware, but it was cleaned. So how long do you want to retain that file? Disable catch up full scan, catch up quick scan. Actually, you know what? We did configure some of the scans already baseline. So excluded processes, PUA protection. Specify the level of detection for potentially unwanted applications, PUA. Windows Defender alerts you when potentially unwanted software is being downloaded or attempts to install itself on your computer. Okay, that's good. PUA protection off. Windows Defender will not protect against potentially what? PUA protection on. Detected items are blocked. They will show in history along with threats. Audit mode. Okay, let's put in audit mode. Windows Defender will detect potentially unwanted applications, but take no action. Okay, you know, I need to install some stuff there for labs, and I don't want it to be pushy. Real-time scan direction, monitor all files, bidirectional. Yeah, it's incoming, outgoing. Okay, scan all files. Scan parameter. Well, quick scan, full scan are all configured already. Scan day, schedule scan day. Which day do you want to scan? Maybe Friday. That was not there. Time was there, day was not there. Schedule scan time, yeah, time is here. So you can schedule from here because that's specific for antivirus instead of configuring anything antivirus in the baseline. Those were lesser amount of features. These are more detailed features, right? So yeah, I would come here, anything antivirus in security baseline, endpoint security baseline, and in configuration profiles, I would disable there, and I would just come here and enable everything for antivirus, right? It's all not configured. Actually, Microsoft didn't even give their recommendation. So this means we have to go through everything step by step, very, very carefully. And excluded extensions, excluded paths. Wow, I'm not sure why I didn't go for this, because I found the antivirus already being enabled with default features. So I didn't go in depth with the antivirus here in my company. But they have improved, they have added so much more. Okay, disable local admin merge, allow on access protection, really. Remediation actions of severe threats, for moderate severity, remediation action. So what are the remediation if the virus is found? Allow network protection down level, allow datagram processing, disable DNS over TCP parsing. Wow. You're kidding me, this DNS info. Platform updates, channel, security intelligence updates. Okay, this needs to be really gone in depth when you are implementing that. I did not configure, other than in RDA, I did not configure anything here. But whoa, this is important. Okay, next. So yeah, I just configured a day there. And some of the antivirus policies are already configured in the baseline. So those are good enough for our training and wire and meant. Okay, I know today's lecture is totally boring. Select, next, this class, and create. But you know, at least you should have an idea how antivirus settings look like from inside. What are the options there? Because those Intune is all about policies, but it's more than that as well. But there's so many policies here. Windows security experience, if it's pretty much the same, then yeah, I'm just gonna skip that. But we will just have to go once from inside. This was WinSec EXP, Windows security experience. Control C, Control V, next. Okay, disable account protection, user interface. Yeah, we've seen that before. disable clear TPM button if TPM trusted platform module, right? Family UI, health UI, network UI, disable health network UI, disable enhanced notifications, TPM firmware update warning. Trusted platform module is used for TPM is used for encryption of device. So BitLocker and TPM are best friends, right? So you want to change some settings of the Windows from here for this policy. Disable virus UI, okay? User interface of virus, and antivirus. And hide ransomware data recovery. What? Use this policy setting to hide the ransomware data recovery area in Windows Defenders. So from ransomware attack, if data was recovered, hide that area. Suppose some user who's not supposed to see that sees that and deletes that data. So you can do that. Disable. So these are very in-depth security policies for specific scenarios. Enable customized toasts and the notifications. Enable in-app customization. Seriously. Display the company name and contact options in the card fly. Email, phone URL. This would be, and company name would be appearing when you're going for antivirus, Windows security settings. Defender, tamper protection device. So lots of security settings here for very specific scenarios, right? Well, oh, I didn't configure actually anything. So yeah, that's the scope tag and assignment to a group. But I just wanted you to see the policies here, what are inside this. So I'm just going to close that. I didn't configure anything here. Create policy. And then Windows 10, 11, Windows Server, set profile. The last one is Defender update controls. Configure the gradual release rollout of Defender update to targeted device groups. Use a ringed approach to test, validate, and roll out updates to devices through release channels. Updates available on platform, engine, security intelligence updates. These policy types have pause, resume, and manual rollback commands. So you have to update Defender rollouts. So what are Defender rollouts then? Defender updates controls. Engine updates channel. So yeah, oh wow. So not configured default, the device will stay up to date automatically during the gradual release cycle, right? Release cycle suitable for most devices. So not configured is already configured, but you want to go different way. Beta channel devices set to this channel will be first to receive new updates. Current channel preview, staged, broad. You know, there's that in patching, we're going to see that they have put different groups there: preview, staged, broad. So staged are, you can just put some devices that will be in the staged channel. So updates will first happen on the staged devices. Then, if everything goes well, then after 1 or 2 days, automatically it will update on broad devices, which are, you know, the next level. So you can put all the devices in broad, the rest of the devices. So then preview, you can also still preview updates on very few devices or test devices first, then stage few more users, less critical users maybe, and then broad all users, right? Time delay, you can still delay for some of the machines that, hey, don't put that channel device. So suppose I go for staged here, and platforms update channel. So you want to update the antivirus engine, you want to update the whole platform, and you want to update security intelligence updates. You want to do that. So again, suppose default is good, automatically it's going to do that. Suppose I go for default here as well. Next, and that again, it's just implement all the updates on whoever is added to this group. So it's just whenever they have a rollout of Defender updates. So just go for default settings. I've gone for that. So not much. Disk encryption on enterprise level. So create policy, go for Windows 10 or later. BitLocker. You have BitLocker drive encryption is a data protection feature that integrates with the operating system and addresses the threats of data theft or exposure from lost, stolen, or inappropriately decommissioned computers. So did you know you can view the encryption status of all managed devices in the encryption report? Devices monitor encryption. So you want to see this encryption status, that which devices are encrypted or not. This includes status of encryption on the device, encryption readiness, and any prerequisites. So if I click create here and go for BitLocker company-wide policy. So although we have gone through BitLocker policies and configuration profiles, which are implemented as well, but that is what you see here is either a collection of all those or yet totally different aspect of same feature called BitLocker. Control use of BitLocker on removable devices. So those which are USB devices, external devices, do you want to control BitLocker there? Well, I have configured BitLocker already. Deny write access to removable drives, not protected by BitLocker. Yeah, that was a policy there already. Enforce drive encryption type on fixed data drives. So this is your computer fixed drives. Yes, in BitLocker is enabled there already. Fixed data drives. Yeah. So something that I'm just looking for something new because I've seen all this before as well. Enforce drive encryption type on operating systems drives. Operating system drive you want to encrypt or not? Additional authentication at startup you want or not? Wow. Additional authentication other than TPM. It just says that there could be a pin, extra pin that they can also put there when the system starts, which already is implemented actually. When you implement BitLocker, it asks for a pin at the start of the machine as well, when you start the machine. Allow enhanced pins for startup. Yeah, we already implemented all that. That's very strange that these are some of the same policies for BitLocker that I've seen in already in other baselines and configuration profiles. So I'll just cancel out from here. Firewall, obviously it should be on, and we did enable firewall in the previous policies as well. Is there anything new that it's offering here? We can just explore that. Otherwise, we actually don't need that. So there's Defender Firewall profile and Defender Firewall rules profile. If I go to Defender Firewall and click create, anything new, then we can implement. Otherwise, don't need to implement that. Allow TI's authentication endpoint. List of URLs separated by Unicode character to endpoints accessible only within an enterprise network. If any of the URLs can be resolved over HTTPS, the network would be considered authenticated. So some of the URLs, uniform resource, universal resource locator, or uniform resource locator. So if you enable that, you have to enable some profiles that URLs that you can go to these URL HTTPS // you can go to those URLs only if they have secure connection. Otherwise, you cannot go to those URLs. And then configure TI's authentication network. So over the network as well, if you want to go for UNC path / printer, so you can give those paths as well. If they are secure, then you can go. Auditing object access or audit filtering platform connection. Allows you to audit connections that are allowed or blocked by the Windows filtering platform, WFP. The following events are included. Okay, so these are all the events who got blocked, incoming connections or outgoing connections, right? Windows filtering platform. So you want to configure that success failure of connectivity to devices. So report to me failure. Actually, object access audit. This is just auditing. Filtering platform packet drop. If there's a packet drop and packet drop success is there, then let me know in auditing. Firewall, the firewall configuration service provider. Certificate revocation list verification. Enable packet queue, IPsec exceptions, opportunistically match authentication set per km. It's not kilometer, I'm sure. So, okay, so here, yeah, there are some more deeper settings, pre-shared key encoding, security, association idle timeout. I'm also like kind of having headache and tired of talking about all the policies. I wish we had more lab here, but once at least we need to go through once. Oh, seriously, that's a lot of settings they have added here. So yeah, this needs to be gone down and researched for every option that what do you want enabled in a typical firewall. Whatever you implement here gets implemented on all endpoints firewall. So I have a firewall here in my machine, obviously. So you can configure, you can control 10,000 machines that are connected to Intune. There's firewalls you can control from here. But that's a lot of setting that you have to go deep down into. Whoa. Yeah, so this one I would configure. I haven't gone through this and configured it in my company as well. But if there's something that is crucial, then I'm going to come here and configure that. Firewall, MDM device. So if you create any policy, it will say that firewall policy that you've created now have implemented on these devices. Endpoint privilege management is now generally available. To use this add-on, your global or billing administrator can start a trial or buy licenses. Oh, okay. So first buy a license and then create a policy for what? Endpoint privilege management. So if administrators' accounts are created in endpoint, obviously hackers can also attack those administrator endpoints. So devices, local administrators. So you want to manage those local administrators in the device, then this is the thing. But yes, you have to purchase license for that. From Microsoft, there's no trial. Okay, start a trial or buy licenses, but they don't show where. We can revisit that at the end of the course as well. But the endpoint security has so much there. Endpoint detection and response. So if endpoint is detected to be troublemaker, then what kind of response you want to have? Detect and respond. So that's, you want to take action if you find something. Microsoft Defender for Endpoint Client Configuration Package Type. Onboard, if it is onboarded, so it says Microsoft Defender response capabilities provide advanced attack detections that are near real time and actionable. Security analysts can prioritize alerts effectively, gain visibility into the full scope of a breach, and take response actions to remediate threats. Now, this is good because one of our devices was attacked recently. So suppose the device is onboarding device. So set Windows Defender Advanced Threat Protection onboarding blob and initiate onboarding to Windows Defender Advanced Threat Protection. So you want to add devices to advanced threat protection. So if an attack happens on that device, then there should be an effective alerting system there and an effective response system there as well. So for that, you need to add a device here. But yes, I have to also check that. What are the other procedures? But yeah, I could just put a device name here, like Win 10 or Win 11368, whatever the device name you put there with the naming convention, you can put here. not configured for now, but sample sharing, yeah. If there is some sample malicious file, then you can upload it it can upload automatically, and telemetry reporting frequencies deprecated already, but that's it. So what should be the endpoint detection response? Then advanced threat protection, advanced threat protection, ATP will really take action. It will detect and it will respond, and it will make alerts as well for any devices that are added here. So that's the main idea behind that. Just gonna close that. And app control for business is preview. So it's whenever it's ready, then we're gonna, but it says that you must designate authorized source of application deployment within your organization before you can deploy app control for business policies that trust apps installed from managed installers. Wow. So the thing is that authorized source of application deployment should be made sure, first of all, that applications are coming from authorized source, suppose from Microsoft Store, Google Store, App Store, Play Store, right? And then app protection policies could be there. Then you can create those. But if I go for test here, then app control for business configuration settings format, really. Select enter XML data to type or paste an XML property list that contains your app control for business policy. So you can create some application control policies and put it in the XML file and upload that XML file here. Whatever directions or settings are inside XML file will be implemented here. So that's kind of it. It keeps going. Attack surface reduction. So attack surface reduction policies, ASR. If I go over that, Windows and server, how many profiles? Attack surface reduction rules. Attack surface reduction rules target behaviors that malware and malicious apps typically use to infect computers, including executable files and scripts used in Office apps and or webmail that attempt to download or run files, obfuscated or otherwise suspicious scripts behaviors that apps don't usually initiate during normal day-to-day time. So if it is unusual and it is suspected, so then ASR is there. But what does it do? Block Adobe Reader from creating child process. Remember that we've gone through that in the endpoint security, the first baseline. Block credential stealing from the Windows Local Security Authority subsystem. Yep, it was there. Block. So you can go specific on these settings from here, or they are also, majority of them are also already added to the endpoint security baseline. Creating executable content, block Office applications from injecting code into the all till now everything was there. Attack surface reduction, only exclusions. Enable controlled folder access, protected folders. Few of the settings here were not there, but majority of the settings were there in the baseline that we configured. So ASR, and they were also saying ASR section. So there was the ASR section that could be implemented from there, or you can specifically come here and configure that. Account protection. So that is local user group membership, local admin password solution labs, account protection preview. So local user group membership. So whose part, there are local groups, right? In each machine, local administrator groups. So, interesting. So administrators, users, guests, power users, these are normally the groups in your Windows 10, 11 machine, right? So group and user action, add, update, or remove, and user selection type, users and groups. Now you want to update, suppose you want to have more administrator in Windows 11, all Windows 11 machines. So, and you select update and user groups. So you can select users or groups from here that will become administrators to the machines. Wow. They just added that. It was not there before. So yes, through Intune policy, I was able to create administrators as well, but I had to use some code and script. But this is pretty straightforward. You want to add more administrators, local administrators to a device, Windows 10 devices, Windows, just one specific device or laptop you want to add in the local administrators, some users or groups, you can add that from here. Pretty amazing, really. Yeah, so that's amazing. If I go for some user, suppose Adele, and then next, scope tags, default, like all across the organization, it implements assignments. Now here, you can have group for machines as well. You can have a group for machines as well. And then you can implement that, okay, in these group of machines, or machines in this group, the local administrators, some Adele will be the local administrator as well, right? So here, add group for machines you can add as well. Okay, but this is pretty amazing that you can just add simply someone into a machine as a local user. Account protection, and that's called protection. Okay. Device compliance, yeah, this is just how many devices are compliant, how many are not. This is compliance policy. And conditional access, we have talked about conditional access before, but I will be then giving a policy. Actually, we've gone through the policy of conditional access when we were talking about enter ID before. Assignment failures. Yeah, so some of the assignments, if they were failed on the devices, then they would come here. Then you have to troubleshoot that what did not get implemented, although I did not choose much in antivirus. And then it says Microsoft Defender for antivirus. For endpoint, like we have to connect Defender for endpoint to Intune. So if I go there for they should be giving a way to connect. I think I did connect a Defender in my company to Intune, but I should have those steps to connect Defender. But obviously, in this subscription, you have to then purchase the licenses for Defender. It ain't free. Okay. All right, guys. So yeah, this is endpoint security today. That was a lot of policies that we have gone through. We needed to actually go for some labs as well. So yeah, we will be doing that obviously in next class now. But this is overall what we will be covering today. I still need to configure my machines and need to check that if they are working, because I need to install company portal app there as well. I need to install company portal app, then request policy synchronization from that company portal app. That's what I'm going to do here. And then, yeah, have a nice weekend and see you next weekend. But yeah, we have to go through the policies. I know it's boring, but it's important as well. You must know where are which policy for what. Windows hello. It's asking for that. I'll just give a pin if it asks for that. More information required. Email Lawrence. Next. Oh man, really? Okay. Receive a code. 195,490. One 380,831. Yeah, so guys, well, that's it. See you next week. Bye bye. I'm just doing this. If you want to go, it's okay.